Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to solo Maw of Souls as a Retribution Paladin here on Legion Remix. Before we get started, when it comes to talents are just going to be the same talent set I've been using. It was in my original guide and a lot of kind of stuff. I won't go through every single thing here. Instead, I will just link the talents below in the description below. This talent set can do keys on even the highest levels. There are things you can switch out if you like to, but this is what I use for my high keys. And I'm soloing these, of course. Now let's talk quickly about the artifact weapon. It's worth pointing out, because it's different from the guide, that I'm now using Call of the Forest, the top line ability. This does more sustained damage, and for one like Maw of Souls, it's actually going to be completely necessary. Twisted Crusade is still really good. It's in the ballpark of Call of the Forest, plus you have the burst damage of Fell Spike to go along with that, which is obviously very good. So for certain things, Fell Spike can be very powerful, but for Maw of Souls, we're going to need as much damage as we can because Helya is bugged. We might talk about it a little bit more when we get there to the boss, but basically you have to one-phase Helya. So you have to have the DPS to do it, meaning this key is going to be one of the hardest keys that you do because you have to be able to kill her before she resets her health. I don't expect that bug to be fixed because it's still not fixed after all these weeks of Legion Remix. So let's go ahead and get started here on this 45 Maw of Souls. This is obviously a very short key, so hopefully it'll be a short video for you guys. The first pull, I'm going to be telling you as if this is a push key. A push key means it's a key that's like higher than you've done before, right? So this is going to be like a difficult key for you. Now, even in a difficult key, you should be able to basically do the first pull all in one. If you can't do the first pull all in one, you might not be able to make that Helya DPS check we were talking about. So I didn't pull those guys over there. We're going to talk about why. I probably could in the key level that I'm doing. It's worth pointing out that I'm doing a 45. I can probably do a little bit higher than this in Maw of Souls, but that Helya DPS check is no joke. But I could probably do a little bit higher than this, but I don't want to be constantly almost dying while I'm trying to explain stuff to you guys, because then it's just going to be a poor explanation. Also, things aren't going to get completely one-shot in a 45 either, so it does take a little bit of time to kill them. For this pull, basically just don't stand in stuff. Some of them will put stuff on the ground. The big guys will try to run through you. Now, if you happen to pull these guys and just pull the boss with these guys up that just died here, they will just constantly spam Fire Blast on you. And if you're in a push key, so a key that's, again, harder than you normally do, or like the next level up, so like the highest you've ever did was a 44, and then you're trying a 45, those things will just kill you. They do a ton of damage. You won't even notice it if it's an easy key. So if you're just flying through this, you won't even notice it at all. When it comes to Ymiron the Fallen King, there's absolutely nothing to really note here at all. You just dodge stuff. There's nothing important to do as a Rat Paladin. No hard mechanics. You just dodge out. You get hit by the winds. Maybe step out of when he calls or Rise Fallen. But other than that, there's nothing to talk about. So we'll just skip ahead to the next section of the dungeon here, because again, there's really nothing to explain here. If you can't kill this boss again, you're probably in a key that's a little bit too high for your level right now. All right, we're down on the boat now. I'm going to point this out now. I think in the future, any more of these videos that I make, I'll mention it at the top. But I am using a full leech set. That's how you keep yourself alive, right? So everything I have has leech on it. My stats are like 82, 60, 130. You can have these all be close to 100% and it's fine. This is kind of what feels the best for me. But you could have, your master be a little bit lower, your haste a little higher, even your crit a little bit higher. Obviously over 100 is a little bit wasted, but up to 100 is technically fine. But I have 82, 60, 130. Leech 16%. Every piece has leech on it. And then I've been playing long enough that I've been able to kind of craft my stats where they feel really good to me. All right, so on this pull here, we have it's worth pointing out too that we have teaming this week. So teaming and sanguine are kind of the worst of fixes. If this is a key, if you really want to time this key, you should probably be able to pull this whole left side here. If you need to break this up into two pulls though, it's not going to kill your timer. If you do need to do this in two pulls, that's completely fine. But most of the time you can do this in one pull. Again, if you're going to be able to time the key anyways. Basically meaning I've done this enough times that if I had to pull this smaller, then I definitely did not have damage to one-phase Helya at the end, essentially, right? So you almost need to have enough damage to do this as one pull. And that's I guess that is one good thing of the Helya bug, is that kind of lets you know ahead of time if you're going to be able to make it or not. The weekly affix is this thing right here. Obviously, that changes week to week. You want to take advantage of those as much as you can. For certain bosses, it's more important than others. This is teaming. Otherwise, you need to pull more stuff on the boat there. We'll pull into these guys. These guys just do a fear. It's annoying. You could technically pull these up to the boss, especially if you were just way destroying the key. But I'm going to, like, even me, whereas I'm a little bit too high here, I might barely kill it in time before it does the scream. We can interrupt that one. So yeah, just in being over geared, I barely made that. So I don't like getting feared during bosses and stuff. It sets up a death condition, especially when you are using leash to stay alive, right? So you're not doing damage when you're running around feared. So it definitely sets up a death condition. This boss, there isn't a ton to talk about. We'll talk about the fracture when it happens, because on a key that you're going to barely be able to time, the fracture could cause you some damage. This shackled server, whatever it's called, what is that? Servier? I don't know what it's called. But anyways, servant, I don't know. So fragment here. So I'm going to shield of vengeance on my fragment here. So you could possibly take a lot of damage during this. And then I'm going to try to AoE these fragments down. You could use your bubble. It still will stun you through your bubble, but it will not spawn the little guys, which is kind of nice. And of course, you won't take any damage during your bubble either. Other than that, I'm just going to make sure I kill the shackle guy, kill my fragment stuff, and dodge all of this purple stuff on the ground. Nothing too much to talk about here again. So again, this, like I said, this video is going to be pretty quick, and that's because these bosses are not particularly challenging compared to some other ones. So we'll pick back up on the next trash pull. All right, so after the boss is defeated and you dodged purple stuff for a couple minutes there, a few minutes, you're going to get to this next one. So on teaming, this guy walks around, so he makes this much harder. I would say to be able to time this key on a push key, you need to do this in probably 2 pulls, but you could break it up a little bit more. And what I mean by 2 pulls is kind of like this pull here, and then the next pull of everything else together as well. Now, technically 3 pulls if you count the little mini boss guy at the end as well. But you could do it like that if you're able to. If everything else you've been able to pull solo up until this point, or like how I suggested doing it, if you've been able to do that on everything else, then you could probably just pull this whole left side. And you can even be cheeky and pull it into this little mini boss here at the end too. This guy right here, he does a lot of damage though. On a push key, he does a lot of damage, so you do need to be aware of that. He'll his no quarter or whatever it's called will really do a number on you. Give no quarter, there it is. That'll really do something to you there. Again, I'm a little bit overgeared for this, just so I can make sure I stay alive. Also, the reality is, though, despite how much gear I have, it's so hard to one-phase Helya that I don't even know what the highest key I could do here is. I'll have a general idea by how much time left I have when she goes down. But you'll also see here that I'm not going to quite have enough count. It was teaming, so I didn't pull anything on the bottom of the boat, just because I don't really keep track of what I need when it's teaming. So I'm at 92, so I need to pull more stuff on this other side. Now, if you're really ambitious, you can actually pull like this whole boat together if you want. That's quite ambitious though. But just to show you, you know, I'm kind of taking my time on this top boat, and we're still doing fine. You know, you can interrupt these casts here, but you know, interrupt when you can, but when you pull a lot of them, you can't really interrupt them. So you just kind of have to DPS them through it. But we're gonna pull this over here, and then we'll just pick up on Helya, and we'll kind of go over how that fight's gonna work for you. All right, so if they do by some miracle fix this, this will become a very timeable key. You'll be able to do it in 2 or 3 phases, probably like 3 phases or so you could do and still time the key on a push key. But the problem is she goes from 80, and then when she submerges, she comes back up at 80. This is a bug. It's been reported. I can't imagine they're going to fix it, but I hope they do for everyone else's sake and my own as well, even though I might be kind of checked out a little bit from it. Basically, what you want to do is you need to have every cooldown up. You need to use your buffs if you want to make this DPS check, okay? So the first phase, we had to kill 6 tentacles. I'm going to try to only use Execution Sentence and Wake of Ashes and maybe Divine Toll, and try not to use anything else, and hopefully everything, I mean, the Execution Sentence and Wake of Ashes will for sure be up, and hopefully the Divine Toll is back up as well. I want everything up when Helya comes up. I'm going to use Timeless Drums. I'm going to use everything. I'm going to remix time as soon as my Divine Hammer stops spinning, because I'm playing Divine Hammer. If you're not using Divine Hammer, you can remix your time as soon as your wings falls off. So as soon as your Crusade buff or Avenging Wrath, if you're playing Avenging Wrath, goes off of you, you can go ahead and remix time and just start using your cooldowns again. You need to do max damage to her. Do not start this fight without having something important ready to go, right? So if there was like 30 seconds left on my Divine Hammer, of course I could start it. It's going to be up by the time she pops up. But yeah, it's very rough. We're also going to use our Shield of Vengeance aggressively and just stand in things to try to get it to pop as best we can, because of how we need every damage we can. Like for me on this key level, I'm not going to need every bit of damage, but you will if it's a push key. And if I was doing this on a little bit higher key, not even that much higher, I would need to do that as well. So the tentacles go down pretty fast. These tentacles might take longer for you, and you might actually take damage during this phase. If you have to, obviously use like your Shield of Vengeance and stuff. We're actually going to, I'll use one more. So I could have used my Divine Toll, and we're going to use another Execution Sentence, Wake of Ashes here. Should be fine. But you could take damage during this. So if you have to use a defensive, obviously do so. But at the same time, you don't want to not have your Divine Hammer up when she comes up. You're going to need that damage, trust me. I've had a lot of heartbreaking endings here. Here in this key because of the bug. The wonderful bug. Alright, so you do have a little bit of time before she pops up. So you have like a little bit of leeway here. Now, if the affix came out right now, that'd be really, really good, right? Because then we could even have that rolling in, get even more stuff. So here it comes now. It's going to be a little bit late because I'm going to get knocked back here. And now it's going to be way back here. I still want to get this, though. This is very important. I'm going to grab this buff, hopefully. There we go. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm just going to stand in anything that she puts on me here. Pretty much nothing's going to fall on me, though, because that's not going to hit. So that was kind of a waste, but we're doing that. We can interrupt Torrent sometimes. Dodge the Corrupted Blow. That's a very good thing to stand in for your Shield of Vengeance. Just get out of it when it pops. But it does enough damage to pop your shield there. So my hammer is still spinning around me, if you can see it. So I'm not going to worry about remixing time or anything yet. And we still have 30 seconds, and she's already pretty low. So it's fine. So look, it went off me there. I'm going to go ahead and remix time. I'm also going to use my Call of the Forest. And I'm going to pop everything again here. And then this is going to be my final stretch run. I didn't use drums because I frankly didn't need to. I didn't want to waste the scroll. And now I could use my Shield of Vengeance again. I could wait till a Corrupted Below is about to come out, which it is, but she's going to die. Get hit by that Corrupted Below, have it pop my shield. You need every bit of damage. It's just the reality of it. Obviously, so doing that on a 45, I feel like maybe I could have done it on like a 48 to 50. But that'd probably be about max where I'm at right now, because it's just, you have to make it. Unless they fix that bug, you just have to make it in that time. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. So that's it for this one, though. Fairly easy key, hopefully a shorter video than some of the other ones, which are very long keys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, if you're still with me all the way through the video, I don't know if I'm going to be able to end up doing all the dungeons. I had a plumbing issue come up at my house that I have to take care of because, you know, that's what I do. I take care of everything in the house. And so I'm going to have to be working on that plumbing issue. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do everything I want to do with these dungeons, but I'll do a few more of them at least, I'm sure. And yeah. That'll be it for this one, though. As always, I ask you to please subscribe to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.